Azerbaijan or Azerbaijan, also known as Iranian Azerbaijan, is a region in northwestern Iran that borders Iraq, Turkey, the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic, Armenia, and the Republic of Azerbaijan. Iranian Azerbaijan is administratively divided into West Azerbaijan, East Azerbaijan, Ardabil, and Zanjan provinces. The region is mostly populated by Azerbaijanis, with minority populations of Kurds, Armenians, Persians, Talysh, and Assyrians. Iranian Azerbaijan is the land originally and historically called Azerbaijan. The Azerbaijani-populated Republic of Azerbaijan appropriated the name of the neighbouring Azerbaijani-populated region in Iran during the 20th century. Historic Azerbaijan was called Atropatene in antiquity and Aturpatakan in the pre-Islamic Middle Ages. Some refer to Iranian Azerbaijan as South Azerbaijan and the Republic of Azerbaijan as Northern Azerbaijan, although others believe that these terms are irredentist and politically motivated. Prior to the Russo-Persian Wars of the 19th century, the Azerbaijani people were distributed throughout the northwestern Persian Empire, with the highest concentrations in Persian provinces that correspond to contemporary Iranian Azerbaijan and the Republic of Azerbaijan. Following military defeats at the hands of the Russian Empire, Qajar Persia ceded all of its territories in the North Caucasus and Transcaucasia to Russia via the Treaty of Gulistan of 1813 and the Treaty of Turkmenchay of 1828. Since then, the Azerbaijani people have been partitioned between nations. The territories south of the Aras River, which comprised the region historically known as Azerbaijan, became the new northwest frontier of the Persian Empire and later Iran. The territories north of the Aras River, which were not known by the name Azerbaijan at the time of the capture by Russia, were absorbed into the Russian Empire, renamed the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic during the country's short-lived independence from 1918 to 1920, incorporated into the Soviet Union as the Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic, and finally became the Independent Republic of Azerbaijan when the Soviet Union dissolved. Etymology and usage. The name Azerbaijan itself is derived from Atropates, the Persian satrap of Madia in the Achaemenid Empire, who ruled a region found in modern Iranian Azerbaijan called Atropatene. Atropates' name is believed to be derived from the Old Persian roots meaning protected by fire. The name is also mentioned in the Avestan Frawardan Yasht Atarepate Hiashar Ono Fravashi Myazamide, which translates literally to, "We worship the Fravashi of the Holy Atarpata." According to the Encyclopedia of Islam, in Middle Persian the name of the province was called the Turpatakan, Old and New Persian Adharbordhagan, Adharbayagan. At present Azerbaijan, Greek Atropatene, Byzantine Greek Idviganon, Armenian Apatakan, Syriac Adharbagan. The name Atropat in Middle Persian was transformed to Adharbad and is connected with Zoroastrianism. A famous Zoroastrian priest by the name Adarbad Maraspandan is well known for his counsels. Azerbaijan, due to its numerous fire temples, has also been quoted in a variety of historic sources as being the birthplace of the prophet Zoroaster, although modern scholars have not yet reached an agreement on the location of his birth, with Qajar Iran being forced to cede to Imperial Russia its Caucasian territories north of the Aras River during the course of the 19th century. Through the treaties of Gulistan and Turkmenchay, the latter was eventually named Azerbaijan. History. Pre-Islamic period. The oldest kingdom known in Iranian Azerbaijan is that of the Manaya, who ruled a region southeast of Lake Urmia centered around modern Sikez. The Manians were a confederation of Iranian and non-Iranian groups. According to Professor Zadok, it is unlikely that there was any ethno-linguistic unity in Manaya. Like other peoples of the Iranian plateau, the Manians were subjected to an ever-increasing Iranian penetration. The Manians were conquered and absorbed by an Iranian people called Mashni, and the country was called Matian, with Lake Urmia called Lake Mashnus. Matian was later conquered by the Medes and became a satrapy of the Median Empire and then of sub-satrapy of the Median satrapy of the Persian Empire. According to Encyclopaedia Britannica, the Medes were an Indo-European people related to the Persians, who entered northeastern Iran probably as early as the 17th century BC and settled in the plateauland that came to be known as Media. After Alexander the Great conquered Persia, he appointed as governor of the Persian general Atropates, who eventually established an independent dynasty. The region, which came to be known as Atropatene Media Atropatene, was much disputed. In the 2nd century BC, it was liberated from Seleucid domination by Mithridates IV Arsacid dynasty, and was later made a province of the Sassanid Empire of Ardashir I. Under the Sassanids, Azerbaijan was ruled by Marzuban, and, towards the end of the period, belonged to the family of Farrokh. Large parts of the region were conquered by the Kingdom of Armenia. Large parts of the region made up part of historical Armenia. The parts of historical Armenia within what is modern-day Azerbaijan comprise Noshirakan, Vaspurakan, and Patakaran. The Vaspurakan, of which large parts were located in what is modern-day Iranian Azerbaijan, is described as the cradle of Armenian civilization. On the 26th of May 451 AD, a very important battle was fought that would prove immensely pivotal in Armenian history. On the Avarar plain, at what is modern-day Chers, the Armenian army under Vardan Mamikonian clashed with Sassanid Persia. Although the Persians were victorious on the battlefield itself, the battle proved to be a major strategic victory for Armenians, as Avarar paved the way to the Navasak Treaty, which affirmed Armenia's right to practice Christianity freely. Heraclius, the Byzantine emperor, briefly held the region in the 7th century until peace was made with the Sassanids. After the Islamic conquest of Iran, Arab invaders converted most of its people to Islam and made it part of the Caliphate. Islamic period, Sasanian and early Islamic period. During the Arab invasion of Iran, the Spabd of Iran was Rostam Farrokhzad, the son of Farrukh Hormizd, who was the son of Vinduyi, the uncle of Khosrau I and brother of the Sasanian usurper Vistam. Rostam himself was born in Azerbaijan and led the Sasanian army into battle. He is also mentioned in the Shahnameh. The Sasanian army was defeated at the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah, and Rostam Farrokhzad, along with many other Sasanian veterans, was killed. In 642, Piraz Khosrau, one of the Sasanian survivors during the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah, fought against the Muslims at Nakhchivan, which was a gateway to the provinces of Azerbaijan, Armenia and Caucasian Albania. The battle was fierce, but the Sasanian troops lost during the battle. This opened the gateway for the Muslims to enter Azerbaijan. The Muslims then invaded Azerbaijan and captured Isfandiyar, the son of Farrukhzad. Isfandiyar then promised, in return for his life, that he would agree to surrender his estates in Azerbaijan and aid the Muslims in defeating his brother, Bahram. Bahram was then defeated and sued for peace. A pact was drawn up according to which Azerbaijan was surrendered to Caliph Umar on usual terms of paying the annual jizya. Muslims settled in Azerbaijan as they did in many parts of Iran. According to the Iranian Azerbaijani historian Ahmad Khosravi, more Muslims settled in Azerbaijan compared to other provinces due to the province's plentiful and fertile pastures. Local revolts against the caliphate were common, and the most famous of these revolts was the Persian Karamite movement. Abbasids and Seljuks. After the revolt of Babak Khorramdin, who was a Zoroastrian of Neo-Mazdakite background, the Abbasid Caliphate's grip on Azerbaijan weakened, allowing native dynasties to rise in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan was taken over by the Kurdish Daysam and the Salarid Maz-Uban. The latter united it with Aran, Shirvan, and most of eastern Armenia. After confrontations with the local Dalimite and Kurdish populations who had already established their own dynasties and emirates in different parts of Azerbaijan, the Seljuks dominated the region in the 11th and early 12th centuries, at which point Turkification of the native populations began. In 1136, Azerbaijan fell to the Atabakan-e Azerbaijan and Atabakan-e Marageh. It was later invaded by the Khwarizm Shah Jalal ad-Din, who held Azerbaijan until the advent of the Mongol invasions. In the early years of the 13th century, large parts of Azerbaijan were conquered by the Kingdom of Georgia, at the time led by Timur the Great, under the command of the brothers Sakarya and Ivan Makagdzali. The Georgians conquered Ardabil and Tabriz in 1208, and Kazvan and Koy in 1210. Mongols and Turkmens. The Mongols under Hulagu Khan established the capital at Marageh. The book Safina-i Tabriz describes the general state of Tabriz during the Ilkhanate period. After being conquered by Timur in the 14th century, Tabriz became an important provincial capital of the Timurid Empire. Later, Tabriz became the capital of the Karakoyanlu Empire. Safavid, Afshis and Khazar loss of the adjacent Caucasian territories. It was out of Ardabil that the Safavid dynasty arose to renew the state of Persia and establish Shiism as the official religion of Iran. Around the same time, the population of what is now Azerbaijan and Iran were converted to Shiism, and both nations remained the only nations in the world with a significantly Shia majority, with Iran having the largest Shia population by percentage, with the Republic of Azerbaijan having the second largest Shia population by percentage. After 1502, Azerbaijan became the chief bulwark and military base of the Safavids. It was the chief province from which the various Iranian empires would control the Caucasian provinces, all the way up to Dagestan in the early 19th century. In the meantime, between 1514 and 1603, the Ottomans sometimes occupied Tabriz and other parts of the province during the numerous wars with the Safavid ideological and political arch-rivals. The Safavid control was restored by Shah Abbas, but during the Afghan invasion the Ottomans recaptured Azerbaijan and other western provinces of Iran, until Nader Shah expelled them. At the beginning of the reign of Karim Khan Zand, the Azad Khan Afghan unsuccessfully revolted in Azerbaijan, and later the Dumbuli Kurds of Koy and other tribal chiefs ruled various parts of the territory. Azad Khan was defeated however by Erikal II. With the advent of the Khazars, Azerbaijan became the traditional residence of the heirs apparent. Even until then Azerbaijan remained the main area from where the high-ranked governors would control the various territories and khanates of the Caucasus, while the main power stayed in Tehran. Though the first Qajar Iranian ruler, Aga Muhammad Khan, had reconquered the Caucasus and all of Iran in several swift campaigns, such as the harsh re-subjugation of Georgia in 1795, Iran would eventually irrevocably lose all of the Caucasus region to neighbouring Imperial Russia during the course of the 19th century, which had a crucial impact on the region of modern-day Iranian Azerbaijan. Shortly after the reconquest of Georgia, Aga Muhammad Shah was assassinated while preparing a second expedition in 1797 in Shusha. The reassertion of Iranian hegemony over Georgia did not last long. In 1799 the Russians marched into Tbilisi, which would mark the beginning of the end of the Iranian-ruled domains in the Caucasus, comprising modern-day Georgia, Armenia, the Republic of Azerbaijan, and Dagestan, thanks to the 19th-century Russo-Persian Wars. Since the late 17th, early 18th century, the Russians were actively pursuing an expansionist policy towards its neighbouring empires to its south, namely the Ottoman Empire and the successive Iranian kingdoms. Aga Muhammad Khan's death and the Russian troops entering the Iranian possession of Tbilisi in 1799 led directly to the Russo-Persian War, the first of a number of Russo-Persian wars during the 19th century, and the most devastating and humiliating one. By the end of the war in 1813 and the resulting Treaty of Gulistan, Iran was forced to cede Georgia, most of the modern-day Republic of Azerbaijan, and Dagestan to Russia. The only Caucasian territories remaining in Iranian hands were what is now Armenia, the Nakhchivan Khanate and the Talysh Khanate. The next war, the Russo-Persian War, resulted in an even more humiliating defeat, with Iran being forced to cede remaining Caucasian regions, as well as having Russian troops temporarily occupying Tabriz and Iranian Azerbaijan, as Iran was unwilling to allow the Russians to gain possession over its Caucasian territories in the North Caucasus and South Caucasus. The millennia-old ancient ties between Iran and the Caucasus region were only severed by the superior Russian force of Russia through these 19th century wars. The area to the north of the river Aras, which included the territory of the contemporary Republic of Azerbaijan, eastern Georgia, Dagestan, and Armenia, were Iranian territory until they were occupied by Russia during the 19th century. Through the course of the 19th century, Iran lost to Russia regions which had been part Iran for 3 centuries. By the end of the 19th century, the border between Iran and Russia was set more southwards, at the Aras River, which is currently the border between Iran and Armenia, Azerbaijan. Thanks to the forced ceding of territory by Iran to Russia, Azerbaijanis are currently split between Iran and the neighbouring Republic of Azerbaijan. Subsequently, the Russians were very influential in northern Iran, including Azerbaijan. After 1905, the representatives of Azerbaijan were very active in the Iranian constitutional revolution as a result to this Russian influence. Khanates of the Iranian Azerbaijan were various principalities established by Iran on the territories in the Iranian Azerbaijan from the late Safavid to the Qajar dynasty, as opposed to those they established to the north of the Aras River. The Khanates were mostly ruled by Khans of Turkish Azerbaijani origin. Contemporary age. The Russian army occupied Iranian Azerbaijan in 1909 and again in 1912 to 1914 and 1915 to 1918, followed by Ottoman forces in 1914, 1915 and 1918, 1919. Bolshevik forces occupied Iranian Azerbaijan and other parts of Iran in 1920, 1921, and Soviet forces occupied Iranian Azerbaijan in 1941, creating a very short-lived autonomous, Soviet-supported state from November 1945 to November 1946, which was dissolved after the reunification of Iranian Azerbaijan with Iran in November of the same year. The period roughly from the last major Russo-Persian War up to this date is called the period period of high Russian influences in Iran. All of northern Iran, including Iranian Azerbaijan, Gilan, Mazandaran, Kazvan, and many other places all the way up to Isfahan, fell into the Russian sphere of influence. Russian armies were stationed in many regions of Iranian Azerbaijan. Russian schools were founded, and many Russians settled in the region, but less than in Gilan and Mazandaran. Also Azerbaijans, or the large influx of the so-called white émigrés who fled to Iran following the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. The history of Iran, especially its contemporary history, has proven that the Azerbaijani people are one of the most patriotic people in Iran. Iranian nationalism is partly the product of Azerbaijani intellectuals. Azerbaijani provinces have played a major in the cultural and economic life of Iran in both the Pahlavi era as well as the Iranian constitutional and Islamic revolution. Monuments. The Iranian provinces of Azerbaijan, both west and east, possess a large number of monuments from all periods of history. Geography. Iranian Azerbaijan is generally considered the northwest portion of Iran, comprising the provinces of East Azerbaijan, West Azerbaijan, and Ardabil, Zanjan, and some parts of Hamadan, and comprising an area of 122,871 square kilometers. It shares borders with the Republic of Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, and Iraq. There are 17 rivers and 2 lakes in the region. Cotton, nuts, textiles, tea, machinery, and electrical equipment are main industries. The northern alpine region, which includes Lake Urmia, is mountainous, with deep valleys and fertile lowlands. The region is bounded in the north by Armenia and the Republic of Azerbaijan, and in the west by Lake Urmia and Kurdish inhabited areas of Iran, and in the east by the Talysh Stan and Gilan Mountains. Sabalan is an inactive stratovolcano in Ardabil province of northwestern Iran. It is the third highest mountain in Iran and has a permanent crater lake formed at its summit. Sabalan has a ski resort and different tourist areas such as the Sarin Spa. The mountain is known for its beautiful vistas, including the Shevan Gorge, where few climbers ever venture. Elevation of Sabalan is 4,811 m. Sahand is a massive, heavily eroded stratovolcano in northwestern Iran. At 3,707 meters, it is the highest mountain in the Iranian province of East Azerbaijan. Ain Ali is a small mountain range in north of Tabriz, Iran. The range has a couple of peaks including Ain Ali, Halileh, Parkachin, Balul, and the highest one Dand. Mount Bozgash Nagdag is a 3,306 meters volcanic mountain 20 kilometers south of Sarabon, north of Manair, East Azerbaijan province, Iran. Tulips are cultivated on the rich volcanic soil of Mount Bozgash, and medicinal herbs such as pennyroyal, thyme, borage, nettle and licorice grow wild on the mountain slopes. Mount Bozgash is a stratovolcano composed mostly of andesite. Rivers. Most of the biggest rivers in Azerbaijan flow into either Urmia Lake or the Caspian Sea. Some of the major rivers are Urmia Lake Basin, Ajit-She, Zaraneh-Rud, Gada River, and many small permanent and seasonal rivers. Caspian Sea Basin, Kizil-Usan, Safed Rud, and Aras River. Biosphere Reserve. Arasbaran in the former Narada is a UNESCO-registered biosphere reserve and an Iranian Department of Environment designated protected area in East Azerbaijan province, Iran, with a varying altitude from 256 meters in the vicinity of the Aras River to 2,896 meters and covers an area of 78,560 hectares. hectares. The biosphere is also home to some 23,500 nomads. Arasbaran is confined to Aras River in the north, Mashgan Shah County and Moan in the east, Sarab County in the south, and Tabriz and Marand counties in the west. Lake Sirmia Lake is a salt lake near Iran's border with Turkey. The lake is between the provinces of East Azerbaijan and West Azerbaijan, west of the southern portion of the similarly shaped Caspian Sea. It is the largest lake in the Middle East. Shoreable Lake is located in a hilly area south of Ardabil. Ardabil University is located near the lake. Gori Lake is a small, fresh to brackish lake in the uplands of East Azerbaijan province. Together with the adjacent reed marshes, it is an important breeding area for waterfowl. A 1.2 square kilometers site was designated as a Ramsar Convention Wetland Protection Site on the 23rd of June 1975. Neor Lake is located in a hilly area south of the province of Ardabil on the Ardabil-Karkal Road. Plain. The Mugan Plain is a plain located between Iran and the southern part of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The highest density of irrigation canals is in the section of the Mugan Plain which lies in the Republic of Azerbaijan. It is located on the bank of the Aras River extending to Iran. The Urmia Plain is in the West Azerbaijan province, situated on western side of Lake Urmia and the eastern side of Turkish border. Politics. In Azerbaijan Assembly of Experts, of the 86 members of Assembly of Experts, 11 are representative of the Azerbaijan region. Ali Meshkini from Mashgan Shah in the Ardabil province was chairman of the Assembly of Experts since 1983 to 2007. 5 representative of East Azerbaijan, 3 representative of West Azerbaijan, 2 representative of Ardabil province, 1 representative of Zanjan province. Islamic Consultative Assembly. Of the 290 members of Islamic Consultative Assembly, 44 are representative of Azerbaijan region. Electorate. According to County Cabinet of Iran, Mohammad Reza Nemidzadeh, Minister of Industries and Business; Hamid Shachian, Minister of Energy; Shahindokht Molaverdi, Vice President of Iran. The section Women and Family Affairs, Consulate Military. In Azerbaijan are based several Iranian army and sapper divisions and brigades, including